咦？这条也可以点。Because Sean is getting out. Yeah. Right. I run. Really? Dead. This game is so fun. Advantage. Dead. A difficult PF stories.
Anonymous declared war. Members anonymous in every work with them, the comments, the politics, vote, back down like that. This publish a single name, the cartel will kill the hostage. For every innocent people die. So far, found out about North Central Island. People define themselves. Define has no contact with the outside world. Led him back to the coast, so he hitched a rock. He dragged his boat down to the water this time, and with nothing but a camera and a Diet Coke, he got in. He sailed for 9 hours alone, vlogging the entire time, and by some miracle, he could see the island, but as he got closer, he started getting nervous. He saw the exact spot the last guy. Expecting to record them and make it quick. Booked the next flight out and was about to make the most dangerous walk. Booked a hotel.
There's a new game we got coming from a PlayStation.
back in his boat. This girl cut her hair off.
Okay.
This man got on a plane with
It was
case, got off with $200,000 and 4 parachutes, and nobody has seen him since. He passed the flight attendant a note that said he had a bomb, and when the plane landed, he let every passenger go in exchange.
There's very games for the PS. Is that the game for the PlayStation 4?
Ratchet Rank for the PlayStation 4. Well, it's not too expensive. Do you like that?
And it will work on PS5.
Last Easter.
Yeah. Because the year is on the base on that series. And Clank. Yes, oh. Yes. Thanks. We will go back to the Clank. Yes. Yes, we can smell that to me.
Go to the planes, the roundabout there. And you
I'll do a home preparation overhaul kind of move. Look at that little Well, the BB City just got another resident. You're looking at the new, simplified, bean-like design of James in his most recent video on the iOne's app. Throughout the IKEA dive into his adventure in search of some new furniture. While James doesn't video, Goose is a different style. It's a bit more cartoony, simplified, and sweeter. He has sort of life. He walks like Mr. Krabs. There's also this little homemade border catches it. All of these changes are subtle, but they do mark a different direction for the channel moving forward. You don't want to accept firing the entire enemy without a warning. These were people who played a key role in the core design of God went out. After rumors started spreading that official turns out that despite having such a massive team, they only put out 3 videos over a year. He wanted to scale back the team to focus on more condensed roles and put out more consistently high-quality videos over time. He had to let most of the team go, but with healthy severance packages, so they'd be okay for the next few months. The biggest change you'll notice in the video is the end credit. Aside from James himself, this had a total number of 4 people working on it. That's the chief. Previous videos were entire production. Not anymore. Well,
Benefits. It's on the spit nose. It's gone.
It's free and easy to sell on eBay.
Or it's full.
well, we've come full circle. In a surreal moment celebrating about 100 years of animation history, Mickey Mouse has officially met Bluey. It all goes down in a brand new short on Disney+. It kicks off with the mouse, the myth, the legend welcoming viewers back to the clubhouse. Mickey has a special device to travel between different dimensions because, why not? After falling through the portal, he ends up in a familiar blue background. Welcome to the Bluey theme song. They acknowledge his presence with a little laugh and get right back to business. Mickey shows off his move, and the theme song continues with some other facts. This short features all the original voice actors with some new animation, and it's just whimsy in its purest form. The world needs more whimsy. I also appreciate how Mickey was animated. Mine just fit the look of the other characters, so it's not just an wow.
Yeah. Let's up here, kids. So, I could top here, kids, right?
Space, but kilobytes instead of just 4. When
Run.
television
Get them place.
games, to me, television is a clear marker. The boxes and games all have a similar design, with the name of the game in rainbow text and artwork below it. The artwork for a majority of these games looks bad. Looks like one of my art projects from elementary school. You would think they would try to give potential buyers a good first impression, but obviously not. The boxes don't show any gameplay screenshots whatsoever, which is not a good sign. Shouldn't you be proud of your game? There was one strategy that Emerson, or rather the unknown company, had to stick out from the competition. The Arcadia was only $99, which was less than the 2600, which was $190, and the television, which was $275. The lineup of games, which we'll see, are unique. The Arcadia received some arcade ports of games that didn't see a lot of representation anywhere else. These two things could be a great selling point for the console. Most of the games have a feature called freezing, which is just pausing. They were really proud of this, as the instructions pausing was not a standard feature yet for game consoles, but they implemented it poorly. When you pause, it will repeat the last sounds that was played. Yeah, that's not annoying. Some games will also let the demo play if you press a certain button. Most of the demos have a very predictable pattern. This is an interesting feature, but why not just let the demo play if the game is idle for too long? That's how normal games work. Anyway, with all this talk about games, let's take a look at some. Let's try Astro Invader. It's a unique take on Space Invaders. Enemies will fill up at the top, and you have to shoot them down before they overflow. If they do, they will start falling down towards you. If they land on the ground, they will explode, and they may kill you if you're near it. It seems easy at first, but in the later levels, the enemies will fill up quickly. It's near impossible to keep them from overflowing. This is a decent game overall. Here's Turtles Turpin. It's a maze game where you have to save all the baby turtles and then avoid the enemies. Some of the items will drop baby turtles, while others will drop enemies that will be added to the stage. In the arcade version, every time you pick up a baby turtle, a house icon will show up on the screen and you have to go there. But in this version, you collect all the baby turtles at once and then find the exit. This iteration is actually much easier because of this difference. I'm glad this console receives Turtles because it's an underrated game. These are the types of games this console needs to stand out. Now for Auto Race. It's a basic racing game where you have to reach the end in the shortest time possible. If you crash, the game will automatically place you back on the track with some time lost. The game uses tank controls where left moves you counterclockwise and right moves you clockwise. Not my favorite, but it works fairly well here. The game is nothing special, but I respect that it scrolls in multiple directions. The Atari 2600 would not have been able to do this. Still though, it's funny to see the size of the screen put itself together. The Intellivision had a similar game called Motocross, but doesn't have the same screen issue and also scrolls in multiple directions. This one is way better. I'm excited to see that Jump Bug was ported on here. The arcade version is one of the most innovative games of the time. You play as a car that constantly jumps, and you must make it to the end without touching the enemies. The money bags are important because if you collect enough of them, you get a free life. It starts out as an auto-scroller, but the second half of the stage features multi-directional scrolling. It's the first ever platformer to feature scrolling, and the first game to have parallax scrolling with the stars in the background and the slower moving clouds. Unfortunately, the console version doesn't live up to the original. The scrolling has been removed, so now it just alternates between screens. The enemies are also completely stationary, unlike the original game where there are unique enemy patterns. Some enemies look like the money bags, which makes it harder to see where you can land on. Unfortunately, they took everything away that made the arcade version great. I thought they would have at least tried horizontal scrolling since Auto Race pulled it off, but I guess not. Let's try Cat Tracks. You play as a cat, and you must collect all the dots while avoiding the dogs. It's obviously very similar to Pac-Man, but there's some noticeable differences. There's no power pellets. Instead, there will occasionally be an item that turns you into a dog-catching truck. This will temporarily send the dogs to the top of the screen. You can also warp to a random spot on the screen. This can be nice if you're in a bad situation, but sometimes your new location will be worse than before. You can only warp a temporary amount of times. This is one of the better titles on the Arcadia. You might be surprised that Cat Tracks is so similar to Pac-Man until you try Crazy Gobbler. Wow, they weren't subtle about this one at all. There's not much to say. The power pellets are back, the character you play as looks just like Pac-Man except purple, and the ghosts look identical to the original game. There's a few differences, like the level layout and the fact that there's only 3 ghosts instead of 4. To be fair, the game does play well, and it's fortunate for Arcadia owners that they got Pac-Man in some form. While a few of the games are decent, you can just tell by looking at some of them that they're just very low quality. The title screens for most of the games look ugly, with plain text that blocks the background. For the arcade ports, most of them are missing features that make the original version great. The graphics are decent in some aspects, but also messy, and the sprites are all one color. It's no wonder why they didn't put any gameplay screenshots on the box. Unfortunately in the US, the Arcadia 2001 didn't perform well for a few reasons. Atari secured the license to many of the most popular arcade games like Pac-Man and Space Invaders, which prevented the Arcadia from getting any of them. The tournament also had multiple companies on board, whether Atari liked it or not, like Activision and Magic. Some of the best places for games on the console, like Pitfall, Kaboom, and Demon Attack. The Arcadia only had a library of 47 games, most of which were developed by the company UA Unlimited. Bandai would publish 4 of their own games including the Arcadia in Japan. Some licenses were obtained, like an Astro Invader from Konami and Jump Bug from Hawaii Corporation. The strategy was to grab licenses to less than all the others. Just Space Invaders, the graphics are far away. So it's just a copy. This one is behind the arcade for the rip-off games, especially the Pac-Man one. In a similar story, Philips published KC Munchkin for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. This game was similar to Pac-Man, but with some noticeable changes to the formula. But that didn't stop Atari from taking Philips to court over it. Crazy Gobbler is even like Pac-Man was. Probably wasn't worth their time. Speaking of lawsuits, nothing would actually on the charges 100 for copyright infringement. Arcadia Corporation would end up changing the name of Starpath to avoid further legal issues. Another major problem for the Arcadia 2001 was a ColecoVision came out every way. The console significantly higher. ColecoVision games hold up to 32 kilobytes of ROM space, with even counting the built-in 8 kilobytes that the console itself has. Graphically, the game
I think they just moved around and come back.
Dead.
Hello, gorgeous. And you've got your DVDs as well. Quite amazing out here.